Good evening. As the potential for stricter COVID restrictions in London seems ever more likely, there is disagreement tonight among the capital's MPs on how far measures should go. Some MPs in outer London boroughs think they should only apply to areas where the infection rates are higher. Others say they should apply London-wide or even nationwide and immediately. In the House of Commons, Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer argued it was in the national interest to impose a so-called circuit break limited lockdown. The Prime Minister said nothing has been ruled out. With where we are up to and what happens next, here's our political correspondent Simon Harris.
There are parts of London which look nothing like London. This is the village of Downe, a rural settlement 15 miles from Piccadilly Circus as the crow flies. People here commute into central London, or at least used to. And although Downe doesn't feel like London, it is in the London Borough of Bromley. Jackie is the landlady of the Queen's Head and says everyone in the village is worried about London-wide restrictions.
It will be a shame if we're included in that because our infection rates here are not very high at all.
In fact, Bromley is among a handful of South London boroughs with the lowest infection rates in the capital. That won't be of much help if London moves to the next level. Any new restrictions, whether it's a ban on households mixing or a full lockdown, are likely to be applied to London as a whole, with all 32 boroughs treated identically. Downe's Member of Parliament thinks that's wrong. He's written to the government questioning whether London-wide restrictions are backed by science.
The part of London that I represent is more akin to Kent than Greater London. It's got hedgerows, farmers' fields, country lanes there. And the infection rate, crucially, is significantly lower than other parts of London.
I think London needs to act as one on this. And the nature of London is that we're not hermetically sealed. We're the sort of people that do travel around. I live in Ealing, I work in Westminster. I'll have been on a tube with people from all over.
What happens next now divides the politicians along party lines. The Labour leader wants a 3-week circuit breaker lockdown. Boris Johnson accused Sir Keir Starmer of being opportunistic.
I think they should follow Keir Starmer's advice and actually go for a minimum of 2 weeks, and if not 3 weeks, as a national lockdown. But certainly from my point of view in London, a 2-week immediate lockdown. I mean, look, half term's coming up, schools will be closed. That is actually the ideal moment to do it.
The problem about having a lockdown like the Labour Party is suggesting is that it's going to be even tougher on our economy. It's tough now, but with another lockdown, it's going to destroy jobs.
The average number of infections across the whole of London is now 97 cases for every 100,000 people. That's very close to the figure of 100 cases per 100,000, which could trigger a move into the next level of restrictions. Simon Harris, ITV News, Downe.